Welcome back to the deep dive. We are digging into your stack of sources today.
We are?
And looking at a literary sensation that honestly sounds absolutely bonkers on paper. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt.
It really is, isn't it? A total cultural moment, but wrapped up in this, like, cozy read package.
Right.
And we're not just here for a plot summary today. Our mission is really to get to the heart of this phenomenon. Why did this book, with a grumpy giant Pacific octopus playing detective, basically.
Yes, part detective, part life coach.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Why did that book connect so deeply with, well, millions of readers?
And millions is not an exaggeration here. We're talking huge numbers. This was a debut novel, came out in 2022, sold over 2 million copies since then.
Wow.
64 weeks straight on the New York Times bestseller list. Minimum 30 printings. I mean,
That's massive success, especially for something with such a, quirky premise.
Definitely eclipses the premise.
Yeah, and things are moving fast. The Netflix adaptation, already filming up in Vancouver.
Oh, really? Who's in it?
Sally Field is playing Tova, the main human character.
Okay, great casting.
And Lewis Pullman is Cameron. Olivia Newman is directing. So, yeah, the industry clearly sees something big here. They know it found its audience.
Okay, well, before we get tangled up in all the human drama and grief, let's start with the star.
Marcellus.
Marcellus himself. And that quote, that fantastic quote that just sets the tone perfectly.
Oh, brilliant. Humans. For the most part, you are dull and blundering, but occasionally you can be remarkably bright creatures.
It's just perfect.
It really captures his whole viewpoint, doesn't it? This giant Pacific octopus near the end of his life, just watching all the clumsy humans from his tank in the Sowell Bay Aquarium.
All right.
And the story really revolves around this unusual trio, all looking for connection in different ways.
So the first one, who you could argue is really the anchor, is Tova Sullivan. She's an elderly widow, and she's coping with just layers of grief. It's huge.
Monumental grief, yeah.
Her son, Eric, vanished 30 years ago on a boat. Never found. And then her husband, Will, died more recently. So she works the night shift at the aquarium. Cleaning floors, tidying, using all that physical busyness, to avoid just sitting with the loss, the stillness.
Right, that constant motion. And then, of course, there's Marcellus in the tank.
The star.
He's trapped physically, but he's incredibly smart. And he sees something the humans don't.
What's that?
He sees Tova isn't healing. So he kind of takes on this secret mission, using all his octopus smarts.
His invertebrate cunning.
Yes. To figure out what really happened to her son. He's putting pieces together from things he overhears or, steals.
Okay. And the third part of this triangle?
That's Cameron. He's this young guy who shows up in Sowell Bay. His life is basically imploded.
Right. He's lost his job, his friends.
Everything. Total flame out. And he's looking for this guy, Simon Brinks. He thinks Simon is the absentee father he's never known.
So the whole plot is kind of designed for these three paths to collide in this small town.
Exactly. Very serendipitous. Which actually leads right into what our sources were saying about the genre.
Okay.
It gets marketed sometimes as a cozy mystery, maybe, but reviewers pretty quickly tagged it as a book club book.
A book club book. What does that signify here? Like literary but light?
Yeah, literary-ish. Maybe a bit cheery despite the grief, and really focused on those character connections. They are the point, more than some big, shocking mystery twist.
But wait, if the mystery is supposed to be, obvious, I read some reviewers figured out the connection really early on, first 50 pages.
Yeah, many did.
Doesn't that kind of kill the suspense? Isn't that the fun of a mystery, the surprise?
Well, maybe for a hardcore detective novel fan, yeah. But here, it seems to work because it's not about the whodunit. It's about the how.
How the truth comes out.
Exactly. How discovering that truth helps Tova and Cameron reconnect with each other, with the community. The author basically leaves the puzzle pieces right there for you.
Ah, so you put it together yourself.
Right. And you get the emotional satisfaction of seeing the connection you were hoping for happen, rather than being blindsided by a twist. The journey is the reward,
Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
But that journey, it involves some friction, right? Especially with the characters.
Oh, definitely.
Tova seems pretty universally loved. People find her endearing. And everyone wants more Marcellus, obviously.
Always more Marcellus.
Oh.
Some were annoyed when Eason's perspective dropped off, too.
Right. But the one who really splits opinions, who gets strong negative reactions, it's Cameron.
Yes. Our sources spent some time on this.
Why? What's the deal with Cameron that rubs people the wrong way?
Well, he's written to be messy, Probably the most self-pitying character.
Okay.
Reviewers called him out for, like, constant complaining, blaming everyone, especially his mom, who struggled with addiction,
Oh, right.
for all his problems, even though he was raised by this apparently amazing Aunt Jean, and he talks a big game about being smart, but doesn't really show it.
Huh. That's interesting because you kind of need that, don't you?
What do you mean?
Well, if everyone was like Tova, all stoic and immediately likable, the whole thing might feel too sweet, maybe a bit unbelievable.
Ah, yeah. Too saccharine.
Cameron provides that grit, that unpleasantness, the reality check of a young guy who's struggling and maybe a bit bitter before, the wise octopus intervenes.
That's a great point. He's the necessary contrast. It grounds it in messy human stuff. But still, this whole structure, grieving widow, detective octopus, messy young guy, how did this idea even start? It sounds like something that could just fall flat on its face.
It sounds like the author herself said, bananas.
Bananas. It really did start quite simply, though. An internet video.
No way.
Yeah. Shelby Van Pelt saw this clip, an octopus just determined to escape its tank.
Yeah.
She thought, there's a character there.
Wow.
Then later, she was in a writing workshop, and the prompt was, write from an unexpected point of view.
And she thought of the octopus.
So straight back to that octopus.
Yeah.
Thinking about his perspective,
Yeah.
Probably exasperated, frustrated with these humans trying to keep it boxed in.
Huh.
And that feeling, that intelligent frustration that eventually became Marcellus's voice, the one that opens the book.
That's an incredible journey. Viral video to New York Times bestseller.
It is.
And Tova, her inspiration was also personal for the author, right? Based on someone real?
Loosely, yeah. Based on Van Pelt's late Swedish grandmother.
Okay.
She described her as sweet, very stoic, kind of emotionally reserved, and always busy.
The cleaning.
The cleaning, the crocheting, the crossword puzzles, perpetual motion.
And the author saw that busyness as, what, a defense?
Possibly, like maybe a fear of what stillness might bring, what reality might sink in if she stopped moving.
That makes so much sense. The cleaning isn't just a character quirk, it's her shield.
Absolutely. She's scrubbing the aquarium floors to avoid dealing with the grief she's kept swept under her own rug for decades.
Wow. That emotional depth really connects her to Marcellus, the one who's physically captive.
Exactly. It resonates.
Now, speaking of the whole bananas concept, the author shared some advice for creators, didn't she?
She did. And it's fantastic.
Yeah.
When she got her agent, the agent told her that the associate who first read the query wrote in the margin, "This is either bananas or brilliant."
That's blunt.
Right. I mean, literary fiction narrated by an octopus, objectively, that's a tough sell.
So, did that label worry her? Did she have to fight that perception?
Seems like she embraced it. Her big advice now is, do the bananas thing.
I love that.
Yeah, because she realized she could have easily just thought, oh, this is too weird, too niche, and stuck it in a drawer. But you just never know.
You never know what odd combination is going to strike a chord.
Exactly. What mix of high concept and real heart will hit that cultural sweet spot?
And what keeps this particular bananas idea from just like floating away, according to the sources, is how grounded Marcellus is in actual science.
Right. The research was key. Let's shift gears to the marine biology.
Okay.
Van Pelt really dug in. She read nature journalists, especially Simon Montgomery's Soul of an Octopus. That was a big one.
Heard of that, yeah.
And she talked to marine biology contacts.
Yeah.
She wanted to make sure Marcellus's actions, how he moved, what he could do, were, quote, somewhat believable, if at a stretch.
Believable at a stretch. I like that. What was the most, like, mind-blowing bit of science she found? Was there a moment observing them that clicked?
For her, it seemed to be their eyes.
Their eyes.
Yeah. She mentioned how rare it is to really feel like you connect with an octopus at an aquarium, but when you do, it's unsettling.
How so?
Their eyes look surprisingly human. They seem to be really seeing you, not just reacting to shapes. That intensity helped her believe in this really sentient character in the tank.
Okay, I can see that. And that sentience, it connects to the biggest scientific aha moment in your sources, right? Something about their brains.
Yes. This is fascinating. The most surprising thing she learned was that an octopus's brains are everywhere.
Everywhere? What does that even mean?
Well, unlike us, where most neurons are in our heads, most of an octopus's neurons are spread out through its 8 arms.
Whoa!
It's a truly decentralized nervous system.
So, not one central brain controlling everything.
There's a central part, but the arms have a huge amount of processing power themselves.
A brain in each arm? Kind of? Is that how it works? Do the arms do their own thing sometimes?
They really do. The research backs this up. A kind of semi-autonomy. An arm can be exploring, sensing, reacting, maybe even before the main brain fully registers it.
That's wild.
So when you see an octopus doing multiple things at once, touching different things, exploring textures, it's not just multitasking like we think of it. It's literally, like the author said, having a brain of sorts in each arm.
Okay, my mind is slightly blown. That implies a whole different way of experiencing the world.
Totally different sensory reality.
Yeah.
If the arm is sensing and making decisions, imagine what that's like.
How does that change how they interact with stuff?
Well, think about taste and touch. That decentralized system means an octopus can basically taste it with your entire body.
Taste with their arms.
Yeah. The suckers have chemoreceptors. They smell and taste whatever they touch. So when Tova touches Marcellus,
He's not just feeling her hand.
he's tasting the salt on her skin, the soap maybe, the actual humanness of her, all at once.
Okay, that adds a whole new dimension.
Yep.
And it brings us back to the aquarium, right?
Mm?
If he's tasting the sterile glass, the maybe chlorinated water, the edges of his tank, with his entire body?
It makes his captivity so much more visceral. It's not just seeing walls, it's tasting the cage.
Way more intense than any emotional cage a human might build.
Absolutely. And that's why the central theme, the study guides flagged freedom versus captivity lands so powerfully.
Right.
Marcellus starts out accepting his fate. Literally says, I shall die here in this tank.
Mm-hmm.
He accepts the physical captivity.
Well, Tova, she's physically free, right?
Yeah.
Financially okay. No dependence.
Totally free on paper.
But her life, that constant cleaning, is set against Marcellus's actual cage. And her brother's in a retirement home. It suggests she's emotionally trapped.
She's built her own cage, out of grief she hasn't dealt with, using that busyness, like we said, to avoid the quiet terror of facing it.
Okay, this leads to what you said was maybe the most profound thing the source has uncovered. The question the author wished people would ask her.
Yes. The question she was surprised nobody asked directly in interviews.
Which was?
Why doesn't Marcellus just leave?
Yeah. If he's so smart, so capable of escaping, why stay in the tank?
And that, she revealed, is the secret engine of the whole book.
Okay.
Marcellus knows the facts. He knows he's trapped. He knows the ocean is objectively better. Freedom is better. But he's afraid of change.
Afraid, just like the humans.
Just like the human characters. He chooses the known cage over the scary unknown of the open sea.
Wow. So even this incredibly bright creature.
He might be smarter than any human in some ways, but he lacks the self-awareness to see his own fear, his own resistance to change.
And that vulnerability, that flaw.
That's what lets us connect with him. This intelligent being who chooses security over freedom because he's scared, that's deeply fundamentally human. It's the perfect anchor for the whole story.
That is really beautiful. So the book took off not because of some clever plot twist,
Right.
but because it wove together this fascinating, real octopus science with these universal human struggles, finding community, getting closure, and just being scared to leave what's familiar, even if it's limiting.
Exactly. It's a formula that hit just right. Grief, connection, and genuinely cool marine biology.
Okay, so we've covered the bananas idea, the tasting with your arm science, the character friction, and the shared fear of change between octopus and human. If we leave you, the listener, with one last thought from this deep dive,
Yeah.
if Marcellus, who knows freedom is better, still chooses the pink because change is terrifying, what does that say about our own freedom, about the cages we build?
What is the cage you're afraid to leave?
Oof, that's the core tension, isn't it? Intelligence versus that deep human fear of the unknown.
And that's why this unusual book became such a phenomenon.
Thanks for diving deep with us on this one.